A security strategy. This is a presentation by Josh Haluska. Ideas for today and tomorrow. Doing this for PMP. You requested a presentation on how to better suit your company for security due to a recent breach. And what we'll be going over today is some basic how-tos and how to fix them, all that sort of thing. The problem, from my understanding, your portable storage unit was compromised by an attacker. The attack came from employees or from an employee's home computer. The attacker then used this to attack the other computers in your company, which caused several units to be delivered to people who did not order them, resulting in some bad media hype. People can't trust you to rely on their portable data. Why would they use you, etc. The basic objective here is to describe basically how to secure your computers. You will understand why this is important, and I will give you a list of some software that I recommend. After the presentation, however, you should be able to safely and knowledgeably set up your work and home computers. But first off, getting started, you first need to write up a security protocol, or just security policy. The policy is going to entail everything that I'm about to go over, and you need to agree on how that is going to be implemented. You need to agree on what's going to be included, how those things are going to be done in a manner that's going to suit you as a company, but also secure you as a company, because the last thing you want is another attack. So you need to agree on those policies or protocols. It needs to be wrote and followed. There is no deviation, and any device that is related to work needs to be followed on this specific policy. It does not matter if that device is taken home, or that device resides at home, or if it is solely on work premises. Either way, it still needs to be followed. Now, these are some things that need to be noted when deploying security inside your policy. The first step you need to do is secure. Basic steps of security is to secure your hardware. The hardware is more or less the physical aspect of everything. Now, there's two ways that you can go about doing this. First off, most people think securing the hardware as far as inside the computer itself, by possibly putting it in a locked box, or using cable ties, something that restricts the device from being removed from its current position. However, security at the location or the host site, your business, your home, those are things that need to be taken into consideration. Those people that are taking their devices home, what steps are they taking to ensure that their devices are secure at home? Is the home following the same sort of secure protocols as the company is? If you're using a keypad entry with security and infrared and constant 24/7 video monitoring through CCTV, is the home following those same sort of premises? Most people, that's not the case. So something you need to think about is if you're going to allow these people to go ahead and take these computers home, um, what happens if their home is broken into, and their computer is stolen? Everything that's on that computer is now vulnerable, and there's nothing you can do to prevent any of that information being leaked, stolen, used, or sold in whatever manner. So, as far as some basic controls, um, now there are 5 different controls that are used. And the first, deterrent controls. These basically discourage people from violating the premises. A lot of people will use signs saying that there's a video camera, or saying what security company they may use. May say, beware of dog, that it's being protected by a dog. These signs are to keep people away. There could be some preventive controls, which just do what they say. They work to prevent people from entering, like a fence. People have fences at their homes. These prevent people from just walking into the yard and doing with and taking what they want. Same thing for a business. Do you have a gate around your business to where you have to enter in through? Some detective type controls, basically they simply identify, the threat, or any threat that has reached the system. This could be something as simple as installing motion detectors, that, if the wire is tripped, the alarm is set, and we now know that, hey, there's somebody in this particular area. And there's compensation controls. These, what happens? What happens when somebody has been violated? Do we allow them to continue to be on the network and possibly make the other computers on the network vulnerable? That's where the compensation controls come into play. And then we can go in and say remove that computer or that device, and stop it from being on the network, or kill some of the services on it so that it won't hurt any others. And then there's the corrective controls. This is like antivirus software. Scanning your computer, it finds a virus, and it is removing that virus from your computer. This is the part where you're fixing the damage that is done. For instance, like you experienced, the leak happened, deliveries happened, the damage was already done. What did you do? The corrective controls is the actions that took place to fix the problem that occurred. The next thing you need to do is to secure your operating system. And it doesn't matter what operating system you use; every operating system must be secured. Most generally, when you're doing your operating system, you will set the operating system up, and it's through this initial setup, that you will put some of these settings in place. Like I said before, you need to decide, as a team, the how you want to go about doing this. But you need to deploy your security settings. Do you require a password at login? Are you going to require them to change it? If so, how many days after? How secure is the password? Are you going to make them use capital letters and punctuation, lowercase and uppercase, so many characters long. All these different sort of things are security settings. One simple way to do it, Microsoft Windows has a security template. This template basically is a collection of security confirmation settings. They usually amount to account policies, user rights, as in, are you going to let every person install and delete whatever they want, view whatever they want, or are you going to make those limited? Gives you different logs of what people are doing, or logs of what has happened. Are you going to restrict certain users or give other users complete access? These different things, files that they don't need to be looking at, files in their computer that they don't need to be changing. A simple user of a computer does not need access to the Windows folder, for instance. Are you going to allow that to be available to everybody? The next thing to do is to deploy with command line, or a thing called Snap-in. Now, Snap-in is real simple in that it is basically it's software that provides administrative capabilities for a device, and this is where if a person doesn't have permission to something, a box will appear and it'll ask for them to put in the administrator password. If they don't have the administrator password, they cannot proceed. I highly recommend using this. It will save you from allowing users to make changes that they choose to make in order to make their stuff more convenient. The other thing you can do is use a group policy. Now this group policy, especially amongst home users and work users, whether it's remote or on site, is going to be the best profit for you, or most profitable for you, in that when you are one person can sit behind the computer, they can say, this is how things are going to be. You're going to use this type of password. You're not going to have access to this unless you have a password. You're going to have to change it every 30 or 60 or 90 days. This is how things are going to be. Basically, then hit send, and it sends this policy out to every computer connected to the network. And then every computer must follow that particular policy. So you want to make a change to it, you can do that within the group policy, and then it will send out that change to every computer connected to the network, and etc. and so forth. And it'll just continue. And then you can tweak the group policy as needed, or remove things if you choose to. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to implement what's called patch management. Now, patch management, first off, a patch is just an update to a software. Say they find there's a vulnerability, which means that they're able to get into the computer, get information out of the computer somehow. There's a door. The patch is something that they put out so that they can stop you from stop them from coming right into your computer. Now, the best thing to do is the most feasible thing to do is to put this on a server, and then have the server install and send out the updates, download, and then install on each separate machine as needed. However, if you're not going to look that much in future, or much into money, because a server can cost a little bit of money, I do recommend that you set your updates. To either automatically do it, or have somebody go around and physically update each computer to choose to clear those patches, or to install those patches after they've been tested. so that they will be able to work with any sort of databases you may have running, like ODBC or Oracle. If you're using those databases, some of these updates, like Adobe 11, causes ODBC 10.0 not to want to work. So if you don't have the latest version, you're going to have to make those updates, and having a test computer sitting around for you to test these circumstances out will be very beneficial to you. Last but not least, the one of the better things or best thing for you to do is to install antiviruses, anti-malware, anti-spyware. However, there's so many things out there nowadays, but what you want to look for is a program that's going to scan your email. It's going to scan your computer in its entirety. It's going to protect your identity. Most all of them out there do all this, plus actively scan websites and monitor any kind of adware, or even notify you if there are cookies. The good ones even have a built-in application style firewall, and with all this in around, it offers some real good protection. However, with all the antiviruses, adware, anti-spyware, what do you choose? Well, there are plenty of available options to start with. There's AVG, Kaspersky, FIST, Trend Micro. AVG's got business, they've got regular, they've got a new thing called Cloud Care. There's so many different ones. The two that I am most familiar with, and as far as the business is concerned, are Trend Microscan and AVG Cloud Care. Now, since you do run a business, you do have to get the business version. Now, if you're getting the money to buy the business version, you're going to have to purchase the extra licenses. And instead of having several different copies of this and having to go and physically install this on every different computer, you're going to want two different kinds of scanning software, and the best ones out there. As far as two different ones, in my personal opinion, are going to be the Cloud Care and the Trend Micro. Now, both of these are network-based antivirus software. Trend Microscan can be installed on a host computer, like a server, or even just an administrator computer. It then can be downloaded into each individual computer off the internet and installed via the licensed software from the administrator computer. Now, it may sound difficult, but it really is quite simple. All I have to do is send out an email that says, go to this site, click on this link, click on the link. It downloads the installation package, which already has the license information. It does the install and now recognizes it as part of the PNG business. It is then actively running. If there's an update, it automatically, we can send out an update automatically and not have to worry about whether or not that person is going to install that update or not. It'll automatically be done and know that we are completely up to date. AVG Cloud Care does the same thing, but it offers an additional feature to where it will actually give you it'll populate the group of computers, so it'll give you a list of every computer that's online, and if its software is on, we can turn it on, we can turn it off. We can update it. We can send out an update. We can notify it to update. We can also renew the licensed software remotely. So a lot of good features there. So just to kind of go over everything, you need to ensure that your hardware is secure. And that's going to be however you deem necessary. If you're going to require people that take stuff home to have their houses at a certain bit, their insurance cover that kind of a loss. They have these type of locks. They have this type of security. Then so be it. But my opinion, if work needs to stay at work and home needs to stay at home, you should not have your work coming home, especially if it's vulnerable and you don't know what's going on at home. You can't control what's going on at home, so no reason to worry about what's going on at home. Leave work at work. Secure your operating system. Like I said, you can either do that. You can do that for patch management. You're going to do that through group policies. You're going to do that through Snap-in, giving the administrator password, all those different things to ensure that your operating system is secure. And finally, you're going to maintain and install antivirus software to where your computers are being scanned, items are being looked at, and policies as far as the virus scanning is done. In my opinion, especially as the business is mobile, the virus scanning needs to be done and controlling needs to be done remotely. Finally, you need to write up a security policy which clearly states how you're going to secure the 3 mentioned above areas and follow it. Once you've decided all this, then you're going to come up with that policy. That policy should entail all 3 of these things, and then you're going to employ it throughout all of your computers operating on your network or within your business. And then your computer should be secure, and you shouldn't have any more problems, or you shouldn't have near as big a problem in the near future. Thanks for your time, and hope you enjoy.